Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 23, Hippias Minor 373d to 374b. Let's get straight into the questioning this time. It seems simple enough. You call someone a good runner and a bad runner, and this is how Socrates then carries on. Ukun agathosmen ho eu theon kakos ho kakos. Nai. So the good runner is the one who runs well, and the bad, the one who runs badly. Yes. Ukun ho bradeos theon kakos the hodetecheos eo. Nai. And the one who runs slowly is the one who runs badly, and the one who runs quickly is the one who runs well. Yes. En dromo men ara kaito then tachos men agathon braduteste kakon. Alati mele. In running then, speed in running is good and slowness is bad. So what? We can see that Hippias is getting a bit tired of these simple questions, but now Socrates finally asks his eristic question. Poteros un amenon dromius, ho hekon vor bradeos theon e ho akon. Who then is a better runner? The one who runs slowly willingly or unwillingly? If you've been following the argument, or if you know anything about running, you would know that we have already established that running slowly is bad. So it doesn't matter whether you run slowly willingly or run slowly unwillingly, you're still running slowly, you're still running badly, and there is no difference between the two with regard to the result. So how does Hippias reply to this? I'm sure he's got a lot to say. So what does he say? Ho hekon, the willing, in other words, the one who runs slowly, willingly. The first thing to notice is that Hippias is still answering with very short answers. This time it's only 2 words. It's very impressive. The other thing is we should ask ourselves why Hippias chooses the runner who runs slowly, willingly, rather than the runner who runs slowly, unwillingly. By analogy with his escape clause, the person who does wrong willingly is worse than the person who does wrong unwillingly. So why does Hippias prefer the willing wrongdoer here? It's because a runner is not a criminal, and he identifies the runner as an expert in a field. And Hippias is an expert in most fields, just not in running or other sports. And in those fields, it is the one who has ability who is better than the one who has no ability. And the one with ability is the one who can do anything he wants willingly, while the one with no ability may not do what he wants to do, and therefore does what he does unwillingly. By concentrating on the ability of the runner, Hippias is ignoring the fact that in both cases the runner runs badly, because the choice here is between 2 runners running slowly, one through choice and one unintentionally, one with ability and one without ability. But they both are doing the wrong thing. When I say they're doing the wrong thing, I'm talking about this particular argument in the terms being used in this argument. We're not thinking of any circumstance where it might actually be a good thing to run slowly. This isn't the point here. It's been established that running quickly is good, running slowly is bad. Hippias, in effect, isn't listening to the result of the ability. He's simply choosing the one with ability over the one without ability. It doesn't matter that the end result here is bad. This is a problem, and Socrates has to work on this. He has to try to get through to Hippias that ability in itself is a means to an end. It's a means to something good or to something bad. In itself, ability is not good. So let's see how Socrates tries to get through to Hippias. Ar un u poienti estitothen? Poien men un. So isn't running doing something? Yes, indeed, doing something. Ede poien ukai ergades thaiti? Nai. And if it's doing something, isn't it also making something? Yes. The first verb Socrates used was poien, to do, which also means to produce. From that we get poet. The poietes is the poet who produces poiemata, productions. The second verb Socrates uses is ergadzesthai, which means to make an ergon, and this is also slightly ambiguous because ergon can just mean an activity, but it can also be a product, something made. It's easy in Greek to slide from one of these verbs to the other one. They sound similar, so much so that in eristics, Hippias would make a mistake if he questioned the identity of these two verbs. Most people would say that they were roughly the same. Hokakos ara theon kakon kai aischron en dromo tuto ergadzetai. Kakon poskar u. So the one running badly makes this a bad and ugly thing in running. A bad thing, how not? Kakos tethe ho bradeos theon? Nai. But the one who runs badly is the one who runs slowly? Yes. Ukun homen agathos dromius hekon to kakon tuto ergadzetai kaito aischron hode kakos akon. Therefore, the good runner willingly makes this bad and ugly thing, but the bad runner unwillingly makes this bad and ugly thing. So it seems Hippias isn't happy about this, but it does follow logically from the two contradictory criteria. Because the good runner is the runner who is able, and that's it, the good runner can do a bad thing. The good runner who is able can lose a race intentionally. But a bad runner, in other words, the runner who is unable, will lose the race unintentionally. So the bad runner does a bad thing unintentionally, but a good runner does the bad thing intentionally. And this goes against what Hippias said in his escape clause, if we treat running as a crime. Endromo men ara pone roteros ho akon kaka ergadzomenos eho hekon. Endromoge. In running, then, the one who does bad things unwillingly is more worthless than the one who does bad things willingly. Yeah, in running, so Hippias specifies in running because otherwise he would be contradicting what he said in his escape clause. In other words, running isn't anything like committing crimes. Hippias isn't bothered by the obvious problem of a good runner deliberately losing a race, but he is aware of anything which could lead to a refutation of what he said in his escape clause. Socrates still hopes to make Hippias aware of the absurdity of the whole idea of someone good at something deliberately doing the wrong thing. So he carries on. Now that Hippias has qualified that in running at least it's like that, Socrates says, Tid en pale, poteros palaistes amenon ho hekon pipton ho akon, ho hekon hos eoiken. What then? In wrestling, which wrestler is better? The one willingly taking a fall or the one unwillingly? The one willingly, as it seems. Which is more worthless and more disgraceful in wrestling, taking a fall or causing the other to fall? Taking a fall. Kai en pale ara ho hekon ta ponera kai schra ergadzomenos peltion pelaistes ho akon, oiken. Also in wrestling then, the one willingly performing the worthless and disgraceful things is a better wrestler than the one who performs the worthless and disgraceful things unwillingly. Yeah, so it seems. Tidente alle passe te tu soma toschrea, ucho beltion to soma dunatai amphotera ergadzestai, kaita ischura, kaita astene, kaita aischra, kaita kala, hoste hotan katato soma ponera ergadzetai, hekon ergadzetai ho beltion to soma, hode poneroteros akon, eoiken kaita kataten ischun hutos echen. What then in all the other usage of the body? Can't the one who is better with regard to the body perform both kinds, both strong and weak, and disgraceful and fine, so that whenever he performs the worthless with regard to the body, the better person with regard to the body performs these things willingly, but the more worthless person with regard to the body performs these more worthless things unwillingly. It does seem to be this way as well with regard to strength. For some reason, Hippias responds to the first pair that Socrates refers to, strength and weakness, strong things and weak things, but he doesn't refer to the second pair, disgraceful things and fine things. It's easy to understand that a weak weightlifter leaves the weights on the floor unwillingly, but a strong weightlifter who could lift the weights may decide to leave the weights on the floor, and when he does, he leaves them there willingly. This is understandable. It's a bit more difficult to understand people who willingly do shameful, disgraceful things instead of fine things. So Hippias didn't refer to them. He goes back to the strength example. But we'll see that Socrates goes to the fine and disgraceful things next time.